Good morning, good evening, and good day. You're listening to Drama Buds, an anime podcast. So hello everyone, Happy New Year! How are you doing? Me personally, I feel a little bit miserable. I'm a little bit miserable at the thought that, oh man, 2022 is over and now I have to start, making new ranking lists and looking for a new K-drama to say that this is my top drama of the year. I mean, it is the searching, that is exhausting. But, well, we're here and we made it through 2022. It was a pretty good K-drama year for me personally. So yeah, let's award those that have made my K-drama year a little bit better. But before we go into the year-end awards, our third year actually of year-end awards, I have some quick thoughts on the K-dramas that released in the past 2 weeks. Because I did do my Q4 recap a bit early, knowing that I would not finish anything between then and now. I was right. Okay, so first, The Interest of Love. I'm borderline hate watching this. I truly, genuinely despise the male lead so much. Anyone who says they hate the female lead and side with the male lead, I block them or I mute them because that to me is a red flag. How could you sympathize with this guy? I hate him so much. But I am truly being good to myself, to my mental health, by not searching for discourse or tweets or anything about this. I don't want to know what people are saying because I think the moment I see someone attacking Ansuyon, the female lead, I think I will have to make an in defense of episode and just be mad again on the internet. I can't do it to myself. So I am staying away from any opinions of anyone else on this show. Next, Big Bet. I haven't really watched this yet, even though I said I would. Sonsuku hasn't appeared yet. And honestly, I'm only here for him and for the Filipino representation. Woo! I love the Philippines! I mean, I hate that it's once again depicted as the country you go to if you want to run away from the police because you are evading your taxes. I mean, I don't love that for us, but I love that Filipino actors are getting paid more because Korean productions pay their actors more. Love that for them. And I love understanding what people are saying because they speak English with the same accent as I do. Woo! I love the Philippines! I might skip through a few episodes and stuff. I'm really just here for Sonsuku. Okay, fine. I'll watch it properly. Maybe. I don't know. Next, The Fabulous. Mentally, I dropped this 10 minutes into the first episode. Like, the moment they finished the first sequence and stuff, I already kind of knew I don't care. Being a Netflix original really is meaningless now. Like, it doesn't mean it's high quality. We used to think, right? We had this time when we thought, oh man, if it's a Netflix original, it must be really good. Because we started with Kingdom and then DP. I guess Squid Game, sure, yeah. But now it's just literally anything. So many of them just fly by. We don't even notice anymore. That's this one, yeah. Next, Island. Okay, this I'm into, surprisingly. Okay, 2 important lens adjustment things that have really helped me out personally. One, it reminds me of a superhero film. It reminds me of my MCU days. Yeah. I stopped after Endgame, but I did really enjoy the MCU movies. And this reminds me of that. The action and the production. And next, video games. It does help that I enjoy video games with this kind of gameplay. Van's combat style reminds me of Noctis from Final Fantasy 15, or Haseo from the Dot Hack series, or even, I don't know, Bloodborne or Dark Souls, or those kinds of enemies, right? I don't know. I just enjoy it. It's fun for me. It's fun for me because those are things that I used to like or used to care about. I love Namgil. I've been seeing him a lot this year in very different roles, and I enjoy seeing him in an action role. Good for him. I love Dahid. This is a great role for her. She looks fabulous, but she can be funny, but she can also be cool. This is actually my first time seeing Chaonu in anything. And I know we all judged him, but honestly, yeah, he's not that bad. I've genuinely seen worse actors, both idol actors and non-idol actors. So he's fine. He's fine. We haven't seen much of him in the first 2 episodes, so yeah, I'm sure he'll be fine. What else? Van and Miho are giving me brain rot. I think I'm gonna get super obsessed with them. I'm kinda there. I'm just waiting for more angst. But like the chemistry is there, the angst is there, the potential is there, and I am here for it. I love the score that they play when Van enters a combat. the choir, the electric guitar, the drums, everything about it. I just wanna inhale that music because it's so epic. It's so good. Although the sound mixing in the show is so weird, the dialogue is so quiet compared to the background music, and then suddenly the music is so loud in combat. I don't know. That's just technical problems. The CGI, not perfect, but definitely pretty good. Yeah, I think I'm just here for the ride. I'm enjoying it fairly well enough. Yeah, I will be tuned in happily. Lastly, The Glory. I skipped through the first episode. It's like I was just looking at the thumbnail while I was skipping through it, and it's like, yep, violence, okay, bullying, she suffered, and I'll figure it out. I get it. I get that her life went to hell. I'll figure out why she wants to get revenge throughout the show. I'm sure. Yeah, I have nothing to say about it yet because I barely watched it. But I've heard good things. Congratulations to Kim Unsuk's ghostwriters this time. You did good. I trust that woman hasn't written anything since she won the Daesang for Goblin. Like after that, she just tells her scriptwriters the story she wants to tell, and they're in charge. So good job to Kim Unsuk's ghostwriters this time. Those are the ones I've checked out. Let's start with the year-end awards. So let's start with our very first category, Best Actor. If you didn't know, I actually have these categories listed down since the start of the year, and I've just been adding people in or adding shows in when I feel like they fit into it. So you can see the chronological order of when I, added these people into my list. So, nominees for Best Actor. Woo Do-won as Nam Son-ho in My Country, The New Age. Son Suk-woo as Mr. Gu in My Liberation Notes. Ji Chang-wook as Yoon Gyo-rae in If You Wish Upon Me. Shin Ha-kyun as Steve in Unicorn. No, not his yonder role. No. Steve as Unicorn. That's my favorite Shin Ha-kyun role. Nam Gong-min as Chon Ji-hoon in $1 Lawyer. And Kim Nam-gil as Song Ha-young in Through the Darkness. Now, I feel like I have to explain my selection process for the winner. The thing is, these are all very different characters and very different shows. And let's just assume that the baseline is that they all did great. The quality of the performance, really, that's not what I'm debating here. What I'm debating on is, would I even have watched this if not for your performance? Not even the character, because the character depends on the writing. Sometimes the writing might not even be good, but it is the performance that sold me on the character and made me finish these shows. And based on that description, I think you can tell that the winners, plural, are Ji Chang-wook as Yoon Gyo-rae in If You Wish Upon Me and Nam Gong-min as Chon Ji-hoon in $1 Lawyer. Those other shows, I would have watched them regardless because I think the writing is good. These shows, I have hesitations on because they're not really for my tastes. If You Wish Upon Me, it's so melodramatic. The characters are really one-dimensional. The villain is so one-dimensional. The incredibly melodramatic way that everyone was tied together to the villain was, not great. And yet, it is Ji Chang-wook's portrayal of Yoon Gyo-rae as this really vulnerable child. Someone who has not even had the opportunity to be a child. Who has only known abuse and abandonment all his life. Now finding this hospice where people are so welcoming and where he can be the good person that he is inside. No matter how hard he tries to resist it and be gruff and intimidating, they all see the goodness inside of him and bring that out of him. And it is Ji Chang-wook's vulnerable portrayal of that that brings that out of the character. As for Nam Gong Min as Chon Ji Hoon in $1 Lawyer, I have mentioned in my review of the show that I don't think I would have enjoyed a wacky lawyer drama if not for Nam Gong Min's charisma, for his expressions, his humor, his just the way he even walks into a room. Like, you know, he is the most important guy in that scene. He stands out whether he likes it or not. And for a show that is, titled after him, the $1 Lawyer, you need to have that charisma to carry the show. That entire show revolves around him. Even the casting of the actors themselves revolve around Nam Gong Min. He's great. He's just so great. And that's why we have 2 winners for Best Actor. Because I would not have watched these shows if they were not so absolutely phenomenal in it. But everyone else I mentioned were all phenomenal in their already great shows. Okay, moving on to the next category, Best Actress. Our nominees are Kim Tae-ri as Na-hee-do from 2521, Kim Se-jong as Shin-hari in Business Proposal, Kim Ji-won as Yeon-mi-jong in My Liberation Notes, Park Joo-yeon as Park Tae-yang in Love All Play, Kim Go-eun as Kim Yoo-mi in Yumi Cells 2, and Oh In-joo as Little Women. Why not both? Park Eun-bin as Woo Young-woo in Extraordinary Attorney Woo, and Kim Ye-soo as Queen Im War-young in Under the Queen's Umbrella. Following the same logic as, choosing Best Actor, my Best Actress is Kim Se-jong as Shin-hari in Business Proposal. Because once again, if not for her performance, I wouldn't have watched that show. I truly think Sejong is a star. Like, that is a girl who's meant to be a star. She's meant to be a celebrity. She's a great idol, great singer. She can dance. She's funny. She has personality. And now she's even a great actress, a versatile actress. And Business Proposal allowed her to really display all of her charms. She's funny when she has to be funny. She's emotional. She's endearing. She really could have been such a bland character. And yet, you get why Hari is so charming. Because Sejong is so charming. I really adore her. And I enjoyed Business Proposal. Knowing me, I used to be a rom-coms hater because truly, a lot of them are boring as hell. And that's probably because most of them, 1, don't have a Sejong level kind of charming star. And also 2, they probably don't have chemistry. And I'll talk a little bit about her chemistry with Anya Sop later, but yeah, they sold that to me. I loved them there. But really, it's Sejong who carried the show for the most part. And also, similar to how Nam Gong Min kind of, carried the chemistry of the show, not just romantically, but also the cast chemistry in general, Sejong got along well with everyone and you could feel that. Her bestie chemistry with Solina, great. Her romantic chemistry with Anya Sop, also great. Best Actress does not mean favorite character though. And I do have a shout out for favorite female character. It's Baek Ma-ri in $1 Lawyer. I did not add Kim Ji-eun's performance to the running because she is overacting in a not amusing way all of the time. Her expressions do get a little weird, and she is really heavily helped by her cast chemistry with Nam Gong Min. Just the way they play off each other is so great. But Baek Ma-ri as a character, I adore her. I adore the fact that she is willing to learn, that she's not a stuck-up, by-the-books prosecutor or stuck-up snobby law firm heir or something. She's willing to learn. She can keep up. She is doing her best. And she learns to really respect and empathize with Chon Ji-hoon. Just the vibes of that show, characters-wise, so great. But of course, my favorite female character is Yeon-mi-jong in My Liberation Notes. I will never miss an opportunity to tell Yeon-mi-jong that I love her. I love you, Yeon-mi-jong. I worship you. Let's move on. Okay, let's kind of speed run this little segment. Best Supporting Actor and Actress. I'm not really going to choose a winner because there aren't a lot of them. Just notable performances and notable characters. For Best Supporting Actor, we have Kang Ki-young as Jang Myung-sok in Extraordinary Attorney Woo. Okay, I'll talk about him a little bit. He's such a great boss slash father figure to Woo Young-woo. And I loved him so much that what they did to him in the second half and the storylines they gave to him, I already would have been pissed, just to have those storylines in the second half period. But given to him, to my beloved character, I got even more pissed. Next, we have Choi Dae-hoon as Seo Min-hyuk in $1 Lawyer. My favorite, Choi Dae-hoon. My favorite supporting actor. Woo! I adore this character so much. He's so funny and there's so much potential in what they could have done with his, his pining over Baek Mari. The supposed courtroom rivalry he and Chun Ji-hoon could have had. His father being kind of power hungry. They were kind of hinting to that. So many things we could have done with his character. But alas, we all know what happened behind the scenes in that show. And they couldn't explore his character anymore. They just prioritized getting it out and finishing it. So, I guess we suffer. We suffer every day. Last notable supporting character, Choi Yun-wook as An Soo-ho in Weak Hero Class 1. We can also add his 25-21 character. He got a Baeksang nomination for that, for Best New Actor, remember? He is just a charming guy. He is very, very charming. It's good that they're still giving him supporting roles so that he can practice before they put him into a lead. But in a few years, this guy's gonna be a lead actor. And in fairness to him, he's a pretty good actor. He's not bad at all. I don't really know if I loved his character as much as I just loved him. I just like how this role played to all of his strengths and his natural charisma. And yeah, respect to that. Best Supporting Actress, the only one I really took note of was EL as Yeom Gi-jong in my Liberation Notes. Oh, my Gi-jong. Oh. Once again, she is Carly Rae Jepsen, toomuch.mp3. She is so much. She is overwhelmingly emotional and irrational. and I want to hit her in the head sometimes, but I also deeply, deeply root for her to succeed and to be happy. And yeah, EL has a million facial expressions and she can change them at the snap of a finger. She's wonderful. And I'm sure there are more roles that I could have put in here, but none of them really, really stood out to me. Okay, next category, Best Squad. I feel like this is pretty simple. Just the vibes, man. Just the vibes. So, first you have 30 but 17, all the weirdos around them. Very sweet, sweet show. Next, you have 25-21. It took them a while to become a squad because Yurim and Nahido hated each other. But when they did, they really sold the, youthful happiness, friendship stuff really, really well. Next, Through the Darkness. This is best squad worthy for me. You know why? Not because they're wholesome, happy besties, but because of what it meant, right? To Song Ha-young, who was alone for so long, who was carrying the burden of having to empathize with these criminals and getting so deep into their head and knowing that he can't give up because he wants to avenge the victims and their families. He can't let these killers run loose. So he will take that burden even if it's eating him from the inside out. And then, when he finally broke down, when he couldn't handle it, when he thought he was going to give up, this squad, these people really stepped up and took over all the things he used to do by himself. And then when he came back into the scene, when he went back to work, he realized he didn't have to do it all alone. Even the most important part, the interrogation, it didn't have to all rely on him to build the rapport with the criminal, to try to understand them and get into their head. It didn't all have to be on his shoulders, whether he succeeds or fails. And so just the meaning of this squad, in terms of Song Ha-young's character development and his journey, that's what the best squad aspect of this for me is. But the real best squad, the winner, is $1 Lawyer. Not just Chun Ji-hoon, Baek Mari, and Sam Woo-jang. Let's include the prosecutors, because the prosecutors weren't against them really. They were kind of working towards the same goal, which was very refreshing because that meant the prosecutors weren't bad guys. Like, they could be good guys too. Once again, Nam Gong-min cast chemistry. I'm pretty sure he handpicked picked most of these people to work with. And that's why the vibes were so great all throughout. And I'm sure the production crunch was hell for that show, but they made it through somehow and still managed to give us a good time. Next category, best chemistry. As if I need to tell you who's gonna win this. But hey, let's list it down anyway. First, An Sop and Kim Sejong in Business Proposal. What can I say? They were the first couple I lost my mind over this year. Next, we have Choi Jong Yop and Park Joo Yoon in Love All Play. I didn't love the unnecessary angst in a previously very cute and wholesome ship. But, I mean, some K-dramas are just very typical, and that's fine. They were cute, they had good chemistry, and I was rooting for them all throughout. Next, we have Kim Ji-woon and Nam Gung-min in $1 Lawyer. And you know what? Let's add Lee Chong-ah and Nam Gung-min also. Why not both? That's why I wasn't bothered when, Chon Ji-yoon was still hung up over Lee Joo-young, and so he, of course, wouldn't have gotten into a relationship with Baek Mari, even though they weren't really leading up to that, but they were giving hints, and the chemistry was great, with him and Baek Mari. But, if they did push the love line with Mari, because Joo-young is gone, I mean, I wouldn't be mad either way. Once again, Nam Gung-min, handpicking his co-workers. It's great. We love that. But really, the real winner here, to no one's surprise, is Kim Ji-won and Son Seok-woo, my liberation notes. Do I need to explain this? Do you know how crazy I've been since April 10, 2022? I know the date because episode 1, I wasn't convinced that they were gonna do something romantic. But end of episode 2, I lost my mind. And I haven't gotten it back since then. You know how crazy I am? If you ask me to explain any scene from any episode in the show, actually, you want me to describe the trajectory of their relationship or where they are, what they feel about each other at any given moment in the show, I could explain it. I could write an entire blow-by-blow description of all their scenes and what each line means to them or how it is a callback to something they've talked about before or something that they will talk about in the future. I can talk about the show and about Gumi Jong endlessly. And I have since April 10, 2022. I'm so crazy that if you see someone just randomly making a thread or a post talking about one little interaction, one scene or one line, between Gu and Mi Jong, and just analyzing the hell out of it and how just it's so wonderfully written, all the layers of the relationship are just displayed with this one conversation. If you see that floating around somewhere on the internet, that's probably me or someone I know, someone I've talked to about it. I've gone crazy and I can't stop being crazy because there are other people who are crazy with me. I'm not alone. And that's the worst part. That's why I can't move on. But truly, Gumi Jong they're not even the template. You can't copy this. They're too crazy. They're too insane. But yeah. Also, if anyone is not convinced that they're gonna end up together, DM me. At me on Twitter. Come on. Okay, I can convince you. I promise you, they're happily worshipping each other right at this very moment. Trust me. Hit me up, okay? I got you. I got receipts. Okay. So we now move on to the Drama Buds Music Awards, where I once again do not have the vocabulary to explain why Best Score deserves to win Best Score. But just trust me on this one. Okay, so our nominees for Best Score are My Country, The New Age, very video gamey vibes. My Liberation Notes, so melancholic, but not too heavy. Just very introspective and reflective. Just a perfect fit for the show. Little Women, yes. Oh, of course. We all know the score of the show is gorgeous. Really adds to this eerie mystery of the show. Through the Darkness, gritty. Gorgeous, gorgeous score. But the winner of them all for me is $1 Lawyer. Because I really, really love the bluesy and the jazzy scores that they made. And also the rock at times when, we're having a Chun Ji-hoon being cool moment. They have these tracks that sound like classic detective murder mystery music. So yes, tracks you would hear in Knives Out or something. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. It just leans into the campy vibe of the show and it really adds to it. I love it. I adore it. Now, best OST album, like in terms of the songs with the singers, I can't really pick between Business Proposal, 2521, and My Liberation Notes. I mean, my top 10, top 20 in Spotify for the year are just all My Liberation Notes and Business Proposal. So yeah, I did love those songs a lot. But I can discuss like my favorite song of the year, just the individual song. Candidates. We do have candidates for this. Love Maybe by Melomans from Business Proposal. I love that song. I really love Very Slowly by BB in 2521. Also Your Existence by Weinstein. Yeah, that's a great song. I'm naming all of them at this point. What's the point? For My Liberation Notes, Laggard by Shin Yumi will always remind me of the episode 3 ending, which to me is so iconic. Like, that's when I first felt liberated. I don't know, just seeing the wind blowing past Mijong as she was running towards the bus, and then that final sweeping shot of the camera panning out of the window to look at Mijong. And then the song was used when Gu and Changhee were running around in this marathon, and it just indicated this shift in mindset as to why they were running in the first place, whether they were running towards or away from something. Gorgeous. My Spring by Lee Soo-yoon. Of course, the Gumijong theme song. It is my number 1 most played song of the year. 140 plays, I think. For me, I will always remember Gumijong's final scene together to laugh at his demons, and he just ran up and hugged her, and just felt like the love between these two people, like how they have really changed each other's lives. But the actual best OST for me is To Be Together by Lee Jun-young, because of the episode 14 beach scene. Like, I cannot listen to this song in the car when I'm with my family because I might start crying. And I can't explain to them that it's because of the episode 14 beach scene where the family finally had a car and could take a trip together. And I was just sobbing over these siblings telling each other that they actually do love each other and would do anything for each other. I can't. I don't want. I don't want to experience that. And also, this song musically sounds like a Radwimp song. It sounds like something in a Makoto Shinkai movie. I adore it. I listen to it very loudly because I just want to be surrounded by this song whenever I listen to it. Okay, let's move on to the miscellaneous awards. I didn't know how to lump any of these together, so let's just say miscellaneous. First, we have Best Director. The nominees are My Country, The New Age. This really balanced all those fight scenes well. I mean, there were minimum 3 fight scenes per episode, so that was a lot to manage. And yeah, I thought it was really engaging and fun in that way. Next, we have, of course, My Liberation Notes. My Liberation Notes in every category. Yeah. Kim Seok-yoon PD is weird. The Light in Your Eyes, Law School, they were weird. And I knew he directed them because they had these weird angles that I didn't understand what this was meant to accomplish or what this was supposed to focus on. But, he gets tone right very well. The Light in Your Eyes was very melancholic and whimsical. Law School was whack. And My Liberation Notes was, reflective and very peaceful. I respect how he gets tone right, which is very important. I also have grown to appreciate his style of shooting. Is that how we call it? Because I heard that he likes to shoot things all in one go. So he plays a lot of cameras in the blind spots of other cameras so that the actors could just keep going in one take and then finish all the movement and the dialogue and get into it completely without any obstruction, which I think is interesting. Feels like a stage play, right? And that's probably why those angles are weird at times, because they're trying to hide it from other cameras. But I've grown to appreciate that. And I also remember watching the making videos and seeing the actors holding these storyboards during rehearsals. So I like the thought that he has a clear vision with what he wants to shoot. It's not just, get the actors saying their dialogue. As long as it looks pretty, that's fine. I mean, I feel like Park Hae-young's scripts are very detailed, even through the shots and the symbolism that she wants to convey. And having a director who respects that and wants to keep as many of those details as possible, I think that's part of it. So I have a lot of respect for how the writer's vision was executed by the director. And next nominee, Little Women, of course. Do we need to mention how gorgeously shot this show is? Not just the shots, but also the sets, the costumes, the music. Kim Hee-won deserves to win Best Director in the Baeksang. I really think this should be her year because she really deserves it. But for me, my winner of Best Director is 2521. Jung Ji-yoon PD, who also directed You Are My Spring, Search WWW, and Mr. Sunshine. He was the co-director for Mr. Sunshine. He has a very distinct style. I don't know how to describe it, but if you look at those shows, you know what I'm talking about. His colors are very vibrant. He brought so much life and energy to, the youthful flashbacks of that show. And there were shots that were unnecessarily pretty. Like, I remember in one of Nahido's fencing bouts, they put her in this black box, completely black box. And then it was her and her opponent far apart from each other in this narrow strip of light where they were kind of moving towards each other as they were starting their bout, which I don't know if I'm describing it well, but it was just unnecessarily gorgeous. And speaking of the fencing bouts, those were exhilarating. Okay, those were so much fun to watch because of the snappy directing. I will always look forward to Jung Ji-yoon PD's dramas. I think he has a great theme for both cinematography and music. I do like the music of 2521. So yeah. That's my Best Director. Next category, most disappointing. Yes, we're going here. Okay, first 39. I mean, we all looked at that cast and thought, oh my god, this is an acting masterclass. This is gonna be amazing. And then we saw the writer and thought, oh god, the writer of Encounter, should we trust this? And we were right to doubt because we should not have trusted. I was hoping for it to be melodramatic, but for older women, for women in their late 30s and not their late 20s. I wanted more wholesome, happy friendships, and there will be some struggles. Of course, there will be. I didn't think it would be, terminal illness and cheating and adoption and barely any of the wholesome, happy friendship that I expected, and more of just Son Ye-jin's character being the main character, even when she's not the one with terminal illness. It was just disappointing in that aspect. Next, Money Heist Joint Economic Area. I mean, aside from the initial world building, everything else about this, at least in part 1, was just a blow-by-blow recreation of the Spanish version. And I just, from a remake of a title that just finished last year, I think, this was completely unnecessary. But if they thought that, we have to jump on this IP, we have to ride both the Money Heist wave and the K-drama wave, then I expected more changes, I guess. And even if I didn't know what was going to happen based on the original, the writing was dull, the directing was bland. The production actually, it looks worse than the original, which was supposedly made with a low budget. Like, this is a K-drama, this is a Netflix original, this is a very popular IP. I thought it would look better than this. Truly, what a waste of a cast. What a waste of this cast. And lastly, the winner of most disappointing drama, in my opinion, is Little Women. That's right. You know why, compared to these two? It's because Little Women actually started out good. I actually thought it was really mysterious and creepy and gorgeous, and these characters were complex and flawed, but I wanted to see how they would deal with this crazy situation. And then the characters mattered less and less. Their character traits, the stories that were kind of built up for them in the beginning, they stopped mattering. because the plot just took over and dragged them along with the ride. And we were supposed to be like, yep, that's entertaining, without even questioning, why are we here? What's even happening? How did we get here? I talked about it a little bit in my review of Mother, and I talked about Little Women there. I hate that it started out good and then just slowly devolved into insanity. And then the ending was supposed to make us feel like it was all profound and all tied up together perfectly when it made no sense. And I was just dumbstruck, and I just had to accept whatever happened there because it completely went off the rails by episode 7 or 8. Okay, now we move on to my top 15 dramas of the year. I will try to talk about each of them a little bit, whatever I can remember about my opinions on them, and yeah, how that has changed over the year. And as I've watched more and more K-dramas, because I do notice this recency bias of the newer dramas are higher up, but we'll see. Okay, number 15, we have Our Blues. Now, I expected this to be higher. I mean, this is Mother No Hee-kyung. Genuinely still my favorite K-drama writer. She is a master of her craft. And, if I were to trust anyone to do an omnibus series, like, who would I trust to tell multiple stories with some emotional heft for all of them? It would be her, definitely. Her and maybe writer Lee and Shin PD, right? For the slice of life wholesomeness. But No Hee-kyung is more of slice of life emotional devastation. And in that aspect, I think that's why she's ranked much lower than I expected. It's because I had expectations. I know her stories. She will always have some form of domestic abuse, child abuse, toxic friendships, long histories between people, resentment between child and parent, friends, neighbors, anything. I know I'm generalizing, but you can find pretty much all of these stories in all of the works that she's written, at least in the past 10 years. So I just knew what she would write, and she didn't disappoint. And of course, she still got some tears and some really strong feelings out of me. Yeah, I knew what to expect. And I didn't like how some of the stories were cut up and spread throughout the 20 episodes. I think we could just improve on the format. I think they were headed to the right direction, but we could have just improved the execution a little bit. But what it is in itself, yeah, it's still great. But nothing will top, dear my friends. More on that later, of course. Okay, next, number 14, Love All Play. This was a pleasant watch. Okay, I really thought this would be like my easy breezy rom-com of the year, at least after Business Proposal. But then they added the unnecessary Junyoung angst in the middle, and just Park Tae-young became this self-flagellating idiot who was just annoying to root for. Like, I still want to root for you as long as you stop being annoying and get over this and just move on with your life. And then, of course, the unnecessary breakup. Just a lot of unnecessary angst that kind of deterred from the wholesome, happy feelings of the first half of the show. But, I mean, all K-dramas. It's just a typical K-drama. And nothing special. That's what I'm saying. Number 13, 2521. I mean, I did enjoy this. I really did. It was a solid drama. I wasn't too invested. I think that's the disconnect for me, where I felt like everyone was losing their minds over the show and I wasn't. Also, the romance, I didn't care for it. We could totally remove Becky Jin from this story and I'd still probably enjoy it. So, yeah. Number 12, Yumi Sells 2. I enjoyed season 1 more, but I do respect how season 2 was more mature. It was more about Yumi and it felt more complex than season 1. Although I really didn't like how they dragged Woong into season 2 and strung him along unnecessarily, but it was still pretty good. And if they ever came out with season 3 or a movie focusing on Sunrock and Yumi, I'd still eat that up and I'd still love to watch it. Number 11, Unicorn. Oh, this is a fun show. I love sitcoms. I've mentioned this several times. I got the humor for the most part. I thought it was cute. I thought the plot that they added was pretty simple, still wacky, but did bring out some emotional depth to the characters. So good for them. this was pretty good. Although, as with any other pure comedy show, your mileage may vary. That's totally natural. Okay, moving on to the top 10. Number 10, we have On the Verge of Insanity. This is a drama that I can't say anything bad about. Like, I just enjoyed it all throughout. I loved the pacing of it. I loved how things changed every few episodes. The characters were funny, but I was just rooting for them to make it through without absolutely losing their minds. Because On the Verge of Insanity is a great title. I think I would lose my mind if I were in their situations. It's funny. I like it. Nothing bad to say about it, but also nothing absolutely I was obsessed with this level of investment, right? Number 9, Business Proposal. At some point in the year, this was number 1. This was my number 1 drama before my Liberation Notes came in, okay? I don't like rom-coms, but they got me. As I mentioned, it's mostly Sejong, and because I do have a soft spot for Anyo, so it's like, he's fine. Okay? He's fine. I didn't care. I like them. The music was great. Yeah, the ending was kind of meh, but I don't care. I wasn't thinking too deeply. I am rarely able to turn off my brain completely, and this allowed me to do that. So thank you. Thank you, Business Proposal. I needed to not think for a while. Number 8, If You Wish Upon Me. Actually, this and Business Proposal are kind of interchangeable for me in terms of my feelings, where I know objectively it's not the best show. It's not the best of its genre even. But I enjoyed it. It allowed me to turn my brain off and to just appreciate it for what it was. Once again, because of the stellar performances of the lead that mattered most to me. Yeah, If You Wish Upon Me got me crying intensely several times. And this got Sunshine and Rainbows Happily Ever After ending that was fitting for the trajectory of the entire show. It was very one-dimensional in a way, very storybook, fairy tale-ish in the, once again, the dimensionality of the characters and the plot. And so getting this happy ending where everyone is kind of walking on the clouds-ish as much as they could, it fit the entire tone of the show. So I think that was a very satisfying ending in that way. Number 7, Mother. Oh man, like a thriller melodrama. Make it thrilling, make it exciting, but make me care, make me cry. I love that. And I loved how symbolism was so consistently used throughout the show. And also a bunch of great performances. Like, this deserved Best Drama. Definitely worthy of Best Drama in its year. Number 6, My Country, the New Age. Once again, this continues the tradition of I don't really like saguks when they're traditional saguks. But when they're a little bit different, this one is not focused on kings or court ministers or, bearded people. It was about vigilantes outside of the palace. I loved it. It was exciting. It was gripping. I cared for these characters so much. I felt so much complexity, especially with Nam Son Ho. I mentioned him earlier. I love him. Bangwon was complex, but also kind of terrible. But oh, God, it's so good. Yeah, I binged this like crazy. And I still enjoy it until now. Now to the top 5. Number 5. Do we consider Pachinko a K-drama? For the purposes of this review, yes, number 5, Pachinko. God, what a great book adaptation. I'm so glad that I read the book way after watching the drama or watching the first season of it, because it helped me visualize what I was reading. I think the book would be a little more difficult for me to read if I didn't have at least a little bit of a visual guide. But yes, I love how they weave the past and the present, or the part 1 and part 3 aspects. I like how much more depth part 3 had, because I think in the book that was the weakest part of the book. And in general, I'm just really excited for season 2 whenever it comes, because if it continues with this quality, I would be so impressed. Number 4, $1 Lawyer. With how many times I've mentioned it on several categories here, you should have expected this. I really enjoyed this show. I had so much fun. I loved the performances. I think it started out so well and, was messed up by production issues and had so much potential to be even better. But what we got, I was still so entertained and so impressed. And yeah, okay, I've said enough all throughout the episode. You know what I feel about $1 Lawyer. Number 3, Under the Queen's Umbrella. It's been a while since we had a drama that we could just say, this is good. This is solid all throughout. No if, buts, or maybes. Like, it's just good. I cried several times. I felt for characters who I thought would be unimportant but were given some spotlight, were given an emotional arc, at least briefly, but they weren't dragged along unnecessarily, which I really respect. Like, if a side character had their moment to shine, they're good. They're done. Okay? We're not trying to give everyone a full 16-episode arc here. And what I love the most about this show is that it didn't bite off more than it could chew. It didn't open any doors it couldn't close. It was just right and so satisfying in every arc of the show. And the ending is so good because I think so many K-dramas are, I don't know what's happening. Do they expect to get another season? Do they leave these cliffhangers hoping that they could get another season or something? I don't know. But this was a very good closed ending where everyone got the finale endings that they deserved. Good guys ended happily. Bad guys were, disposed of. Morally gray characters had ambiguous endings that were appropriate for them, but also I felt sad for the morally ambiguous ones. I felt really sad for them, which is a good thing. I want to feel something for those characters. They left no loose ends. And wow, how rare is that nowadays? I don't know why, but that is a very rare ending. And I loved this drama so much. Number 2, Through the Darkness. Once again, I'm not a fan of thrillers, but this was a character-driven thriller through and through. I felt so much for Song Ha-young, for his whole, almost descent to madness, and then finding his purpose, finding his squad, his team. If they ever gave this a season 2, I would gladly watch it, but it is a very heavy watch, and I also think it's very heavy for the actors to portray it. So, yeah, we'll see. But, guys, this is the most underrated show of the year. You have to watch this. And lastly, my number 1 drama of the year, to no one's surprise, is First Love Hatsukoi. I mean, okay, yeah, before we go to the real number 1, which we all know what it is, First Love Hatsukoi is a J-drama. It's on Netflix. And this, in line with the other shows that I said, I didn't think I would like this. I didn't think this was made for me. First Love Hatsukoi is about, your first love and how you never really get over them, and fate, and I'll say it, amnesia, and toxic families that drive two lovers apart from each other, and emotional cheating, and divorce, and a lot of things. It's a lot of things that I thought I wouldn't like, but I was just so absolutely in love with it. You know what? It could also win Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor and Actress? Maybe. I'll find a way for them to win that award. Best Chemistry, Best Score, Best OST, Best Director. It could win all of those awards. I'm telling you, that's how much I loved it. It's so gorgeous visually and musically. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I watched this in a dark room with noise-canceling headphones on because I wanted to hear everything and see everything. I wanted to be in the screen. I wish I could be inside the screen watching this as closely as I could. It's gorgeous. And to make me root for First Love, I'm very cynical, skeptical, whatever. I'm not the target audience for this, but it got me. It really got me with the execution of even the past and present timelines and how to weave everything together. I keep talking, but I have no script right now, okay? I'm just speaking from the heart. That's how much I love the show. This could really be my number 1 drama of the year, Asian drama of the year. But my Liberation Notes, obviously, is my number 1 K-drama of the year. You know, guys, I have waxed poetic about how much I love the writing and the directing and the acting and everything about this on a technical level, on an objective level. I know that nothing is flawless, nothing is exempt from criticism, but to me, this show is so well executed in terms of vision to final product that I think it's either you like it or you don't. But it's so well done that I really think preference, patience, and empathy will be what deters you from seeing how great this is. But aside from the objective stuff, I have to tell you that sometimes dramas are just dramas. TV shows are just TV shows, films are just films, books are just books. They exist to be consumed and maybe analyzed or reflected upon, and then you move on. But rarely do you find something, at least for me, that will make you look into your life and come out of it maybe a better person. Like, I genuinely think this had a profound effect on me, my relationship with myself, my relationships with my family, my friends, my expectations on love and life, and the meaning that I should or should not look for in it. Sometimes a work of media can mean more to you than just it is media to be consumed. And for me, my liberation notes is that it means more to me than just another K-drama that I watched. I will probably rewatch this, and I still have more to say about it. I know I've said things about it before, but I feel like there's always more. There's always more for me to reflect on, to appreciate, to understand better. This is my life drama. And I don't know, man, like the thought of moving on from it makes me sad because I feel like it is emotionally linked to a time in my life before everything just went up and down and up and down. And this was the last peaceful time in my life when I first watched my liberation notes. And yeah, that's why it's so special for me. And it's hard for me to move on because that would mean that I'm moving on from the last peaceful time in my life. Sorry to, self-disclose so much. But when I do, I know that I will come out of it a better person than I was before I watched this show. And so all of you, I hope that you find a show that makes you feel this way. I hope you find something that really resonates with you and changes your life. If it's not this one, I hope you find it because that's rare. It's rare to find that. And don't let anyone ruin your enjoyment of something that you love. Love you, my liberation notes. I love you, Park Hae-young. I worship you, Park Hae-young. I will see you next time with hopefully another masterpiece. And if not, I still support you. No pressure. Okay, let's move on to my all-time favorites of the 118 dramas that I've watched. I have a few that are very special to me. And I have to mention that I need to rewatch something to know what I feel about it because I am very easily carried away by my emotions. I am that kind of person that cannot be objective sometimes. But when I rewatch it and I still feel the same way or I still manage to find more to love about it, that's when I know that it has entered all-time favorites category. And that's why you may notice that Designated Survivor is not here anymore because when I rewatched it, I just kept seeing more and more of its flaws. And so I respect that I loved the first watch of it. Like it was really first, last, best experience. Yeah. But it did not pass the rewatch test. And so, goodbye, Designated Survivor 60 Days. You were very special to me for a long time. Okay, let's talk about a few shows that, I wouldn't say all-time faves, but I do feel this compulsion to rewatch them, even if I already have watched them before. One Spring Night is a very flawed work, but I think director An Pan-sok is just possibly my favorite director of all time. Just with this one work, I just adore his style. And I've also heard it through the grapevine, a few episodes of it. Even if that's very old drama, at least in today's standards, I just felt his style coming off of it. There's just something very intimate about the way he shoots everything. And I need him to come back. But this drama was one of my first dramas and it gave me a lot of feelings. I love Jong-hae in here so much. And yeah, every now and then I just feel the urge to come back to this. It's not that much of a comfort drama, but I don't know why. It gives me the feels every single time. And another drama that's similar to that is It's Okay, That's Love. Oh, this is a flawed work. This is very problematic in many ways. And yet, it's the chemistry of Kong Yo-jin and Jo In-sung and the feeling that these two characters were the typical, not really enemies to lovers, but just two people who bickered and didn't understand each other and were rude to each other. And yet, they found a match in the other person. And I felt how deeply they loved each other by the end of it. And it's very special to me. I do feel the urge to rewatch this every now and then and still accept how problematic it is and still enjoy it. It is what it is. Let's move on to the actual all-time faves. Number 7, Dr. Romantic 2. I rewatched this very early on this year. I binged it and I still found it thrilling. for a plot show, right? You could call this a plot show more than a character show. I still felt how strong the characters were, right? Even if there was this whole hospital politics thing and all the little cases throughout the way, I still felt that the character arcs were so strong that I was still invested, even if I already knew what was going to happen. I'm excited for season 3. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I'm just here for these characters because I already love them so much by now. Number 6, Live. Another No Hyukyung work. Not perfect, very emotionally manipulative. Truly uses, sexual abuse and trauma against you. Like, it will hit you like a battering ram. And it's a tough watch, but I do feel the urge to come back to it every now and then. I watched it twice in the span of 3 months, and I still loved it just as much the second time. It's powerful. It's powerful for me. It's a very powerful show. Number 5, dear my friends, yet another No Hyukyung work. I told you, No Hyukyung is my favorite K-drama writer. This is really her best work. I have not rewatched this because I can't. I don't think I am emotionally stable enough to ever watch this again. And I told you, No Hyukyung uses domestic abuse and so much childhood trauma and everything like a battering ram to make you cry. And this is her most intense work. The highs are so high, whether it's happiness, sadness, love, hate, resentment, anger, every emotion is keyed up to 100 here. And that's why I can't watch it again, but I'm sure if I did, I would still feel so much for it. I know that. Number 4, Idol the Coup. Objectively, does not stand on the same level as all the ones before it. But look, this was a very special ongoing experience for me, and I have to respect my sentimental feelings for it. Okay, but on the more objective side, I did really love the story that it wanted to tell about unsuccessful idols in such a cutthroat industry that treats them as disposable if they're not successful. Because to disclose a little bit, this year, my ultimate K-pop group, Newies, disbanded. They weren't like a top boy group for a 10-year-old group. As if their story isn't worth something in the first place. Like the fact that they were completely on the verge of disbandment and managed to save themselves and reach some form of success and be well loved by the public. As if that's worthless, And that's kind of what happened to Cotton Candy. Like, they tried their best. They got some fame out of it, and the end of it was still disbandment. And, you can be happy for them as individuals. You can be happy that they're all doing what they want to do and they'll support each other and love each other as ex-members and friends forever, but God, what we could have had if they stayed together. So I thought that Newies wouldn't follow the story of Cotton Candy, but they did, and I'm just broken by that still. So those are my feelings for Idol the Coup. It's very close to real life for me. Okay, number 3, all-time favorite, my mister. My God, the profound effect of this show on me. The way I still think about, what are the pillars of life? And who would I be if any one of those pillars started to shatter? And well, that's kind of where we are at the moment. So, this is a masterpiece in the way that it had a plot that could have been crazy, and yet still it was deeply about the characters and the theme and seeing another person as human and wanting to support them and empathize with them regardless of what their relationship could be, right? Even if there's no clear name as to what this relationship between two people is, just to be there as a human to another human, God, it's gorgeous. And of course, the writing's great, the acting's great, the directing's great. Kim Won-suk PD, come back to us, you're coming back. It's one of those works that really will leave an impact on you. And I do feel the urge to rewatch it sometimes. But I'm really not ready to go down there, to be deep down there again. So maybe not. Number 2, all-time favorite, Missing. Oh, I rewatched that this year after I graduated because I thought, my God, this might be my life. This might be the future for me. I love these characters. I could sit through 20 more, 50 more, 100 more episodes with these characters, just living their lives and struggling and striving and hating the day-to-day. I could do it because I love them so much. I love the dynamics that were built here. I mean, is it a perfect work? No. But do I love it so deeply? Yes. And it was very special to me for a long time. I hesitated to even put this number 2 because, Yeah, of course, number one is my liberation notes. I remember Son Soku talking about the show and saying it can really change your life if you let it. And I allowed this show to sit with me and stay with me for the past 9 months. And it has, in a way, changed my life. But in a way, life goes back to different cycles of stagnation as shown in the drama itself. Like, there are just cycles of life. And we keep striving and we keep going and we keep looking for the 5 minutes of happiness per day. And I'm there. I'm there at that moment. And we have a lot to be liberated from, but we keep living. And those are my all-time favorite dramas from the past 3 years. My God. So 2022 is over and I gotta have things to look forward to in the coming year. So just to quickly talk about the shows that I'm excited about. First, Dr. Romantic 3. Guys, I can't believe it's happening. I can't believe we got the main cast to come back. This is truly a miracle. Yeah, whatever happens, I'm here for Kim Sabu and for Reset Couple and all the other guys. I loved all them. Yay, I'm so excited. And I'm also excited for DP2. That's going to be a hard watch. It's a very difficult show to watch. But, it's a powerful message and it's easy to look at. We do have Hae-in and Son Soku. And now Ji Jin-hee. Thank you. Thank you, K-drama gods, for reuniting Ji Jin-hee and Son Soku. Thank you so much. Artful Chronicles Season 2 is happening, guys. I can't believe it. Despite, the losses that we have survived, it's happening. And I guess I will watch it to support Lee Joon-gi. I think he will do great. And to support the writers because they did have a vision and it just took a million years for it to finally happen. But I don't know. I am hoping for the best for this team, I guess. Okay. I'm very much excited for Kim Won-suk PD's comeback. He is coming back with the writer of Fight for My Way and When the Camellia Blooms. And it's rumored that IU is leading and Park Bo-gum denied it and I'm glad he denied it. I hope he keeps denying it and does not accept it because I don't think he's gonna survive Kim Won-suk's directing style and the way he brings out the best performances in his actors. IU has survived it and it has been ultimately the best choice in her career. So yeah, she'll be fine, but whoever they cast as the main lead, I hope they do a good job because I have been waiting for Kim Won-suk PD to come back. And honestly, I do trust this writer. So yay. And honestly, my most highly anticipated drama for next year is Queen of Tears with Kim Soo-yoon and Kim Ji-won. Guys, you don't understand how often do your ultimate fave actors work together in a romance drama where they are married. Like, this is ultimately a win-win-win-win-win for me. The writer is the Chloe writer, My Love from the Star, the producers. I mean, I don't expect high quality, I really don't. I just expect entertainment. And sometimes that's okay. Like, not everything needs to be a critically acclaimed work. Sometimes it needs to be entertaining, okay? And also the director of Little Women, which means this is going to be gorgeous. It's gonna look great, it's gonna sound great, and Kim Ji-won and Kim Soo-yoon, I have faith in this. I'm happy. I can just be happy, right? I can have good things, right? Can I have something? Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't know what to feel about 2023. I don't have a lot listed down, but we'll see as we go. So that's it for me today and for 2022. Honestly, I will consider this a good K-drama year. I think it's because I've gotten more strict with myself and stopped, watching things just to keep up with other people and what they're watching. And also, I think it's because I have developed my taste over the years. I know what I like, I know what I don't like. And so I have watched a lot of shows that are outside my usual wheelhouse. I mean, I have a rom-com I loved, a comedy I loved, a sagok, a thriller I loved. It's not all just, slice of life, sad stuff, but a mix of things. But one thing I definitely learned is to trust my instinct. Because I realized that sometimes even from the trailer or just the casting or the synopsis, I can tell if I'm not going to like something. And I should just trust that instead of, playing the devil's advocate to myself all the time and forcing myself to like something, which only makes me dislike it even more. I mean, 120 or so K-dramas came out and I only watched 20 of them. And so what? That's fine. This is not a rat race and I'm not a rat. So yeah, I'm gonna keep being strict with myself and only watch things that I enjoy. Hate watch things less, except for The Interest of Love. Let's keep hate watching that. But I will hate watch it alone without listening to other people's opinions. There, that's my 2023 K-drama resolution. I will not listen to other people. I will listen to myself. Because sometimes it's other people's opinions that turn me off from a show more than the show itself. So I would like to be able to form my own opinions before I try to accommodate or listen to others. Yeah, I don't know if that's good for me as a reviewer of K-dramas, but I think it's good for me as a human being who needs to protect my mental health. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here today, for staying through this huge episode. Thank you for even supporting the podcast. It's been a huge year for Drama Buds, even with a long break and everything. It's been a great year watching all these K-dramas and sharing all of my thoughts on them with you guys. So thank you once again for listening and I will see you soon. Thanks for tuning in. Feel free to leave a comment, like, subscribe, follow, and tell me what you thought about today's episode. See you soon!